I have had the opportunity to listen to so many speakers speak, especially after completing my secondary school. But I have realized that so many speakers tend to use the word in their speeches. To me, this word does not belong to a formal presentation or a formal speech. And that is why I strongly argue that saying the word in a speech is one of the worst things a speaker can do. This is because of the following two major reasons. One is that saying kills the credibility of the speaker. And secondly, the use of detracts from the listener's ability to understand a particular message which the speaker is putting across. Now, going back to the point of credibility, as a public speaker, you are interested in your audience trusting you and believing in what you're saying. So if the audience does not trust you, then that means it is a very bad impression which you don't need the public or the audience to show. So how does the use of kill the credibility of the speaker? Now, for example, if you are using in your speech, it will make you sound that you're not knowledgeable on a certain topic that you're presenting or on a certain topic that you're talking about. So the moment the audience thinks that you're not knowledgeable, that is one of the worst things that can happen to you as a public speaker. For example, when I was at the university and we had guild presidents standing and campaigning, and what happened that there was one person who was also standing, and he was very good, had a very good manifesto, but every time he would come to speak to the students, he could continuously use in his presentation. And the students never trusted him, and he lost credibility, and indeed, he lost the elections, he never won. So in that case, it is very bad to use in your speech. Then again, credibility here comes in again on the point of using because when you use you realize that the audience will think you are not prepared for a given topic or a given presentation. And if your audience thinks that you're not prepared, that means that your credibility is gone. They will never trust in you and they will not trust in what you're saying. So it's better for you to avoid in that case so that people can think that you came when you're prepared for a speech. Then when we look at the point of detracting from the listeners, the ability to understand a particular message, here as a speaker, your interest is for the audience to clearly understand the message that you are putting across. Now, if you look at a speaker who is using in his speech, you realize that this kind of speaker will tend to make the message unclear, and also will make the message incomplete. Because you'll find that in his phrases, he is trying to elongate the phrases with And so in that case, the listeners will get an unclear message. And if your audience gets an unclear message, then you have lost track as a public speaker, because your interest is that the audience should clearly take the message that you're trying to put across. On the same point of detracting from the listeners, the ability to understand your message, you realize that if you're using in your speech, you are going to make your listeners fail to concentrate on your message. So in this case, what do I mean? They will fail to solely concentrate on your message. Instead, they are going to concentrate on the arms you are using. And actually, some of them will be asking themselves, why is he using And in that case, the audience will not understand your message clearly. For example, I remember I was listening to a minister, and the minister was putting a speech which was about education in Uganda. And when he was speaking, every time he was trying to put across a very important message, he would distract us by using arm. And at the end of it all, me personally, I did not understand him clearly. So that demonstrates how the use of arm can distract from your audience the ability to understand a particular message. And it's therefore always important that you don't use words like arm. So, in brief, I have said that using words like arm in a speech, first of all, kills your credibility, so it makes your credibility less and less. And also, secondly, the use of arm detracts from the listeners the ability to understand a particular message which you are trying to communicate. Remember that the word arm, for example, is not part of your message. So this is a filler word which has to be filtered by your audience. So why should you use it when it is not necessary? And because the listeners are not going to use it in your message. So it's very imperative that you don't use this word arm. And in conclusion, it's very important that much as some people think that the use of arm makes the speaker sound clear, or it makes the speaker sound normal or human, this arm does not belong to a formal speech. And also, great speakers always tend to eliminate words like arm. And therefore, to me, it's very important that as a speaker, you try to eliminate words like arm to make your speech interesting, and so that people can trust you and people can be able to get a particular message that you're trying to put across. Thank you.